We're on.
Yeah. Hey, y'all.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on any smart device at David G. Evans, the number one, David G. Evans 1. So glad you could join us today. If you would do us a favor, we need you to like and subscribe to the program. But also, we need you to share with as many of your followers as you can with your following, and invite them to join us today for another great discussion as we talk about the things that matter in life, but always from a kingdom or biblical perspective. We seek to apply biblical wisdom to every arena that we are exposed to. That could be politics, it could be sports, it could be events in life, it could be relationships or anything like that. But we seek to always give you the biblical perspective, from a biblical perspective, that wisdom that comes from the Word of God. Add that to the conversation concerning whatever is on your mind today. So many things going on. We want you to give us a call. You can call us toll free at 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. Or 866-74-EVANS. Simply give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. We have callers from around the country, sometimes internationally. Our Facebook following, of course, is international, but we want you to hook up with us today. Now, if you are a little shy about calling, you can post your reactions and comments on our Facebook page. That's also at David G. Evans 1. And we'd be love to respond to you as we see your post pop up on the feed. Once again, 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. We look forward to speaking with you this morning. What's up, Pastor Nick?
Good morning. Good morning.
So, I reached out to a couple of my buddies in New Orleans because that's where Mike Johnson comes from, Louisiana. And I wanted to get a ground level type of conversation with them about who he was, because what I'm hearing through the news is not encouraging. It appears as though that they have a staunch MAGA speaker at this point.
Yep. Election denier.
All that.
But what's the country run on biblical values? The Bible guides his life. It should be guiding the country.
So what did the Bible say about him perpetuating a lie that an election had been
That's
stolen?
my thing. That's my thing. It's not the guns that are killing people. It's the heart of people.
You know, I think perhaps he has a newer version.
Yeah.
Because there are so many versions out now. He probably has one of the latest versions of the Bible, what I call the situational Bible. You know, it says certain things about certain things until you don't want it to. It's one of those technologically advanced things. You know, you put in what you don't like, and it kind of eliminates the scripture. You know?
It's evangelical Christian,
Unbelievable.
Christian nationalism Bible. That view.
You know what's really strange, Pastor Nick? We've always been a strong soul-winning church, and the title for that is evangelical. You almost have to explain what that means to people when you say we're evangelical.
Yep.
Because the term has been hijacked to mean, to have some simile to Christian nationalists, to MAGA mindsets, to that whole polity platform. So I'm not sure. The Bible calls it that, so we can call it that, but it's just amazing we have to explain it now.
From being around part of that world.
Yes.
We talked about this before. Their view of evangelical is it comes from slavery too.
Okay.
Let's just get people saved.
Okay.
Get them to heaven.
That's it.
That's it. Because all Jesus came to do was to get you to heaven. Never mind all the other stuff.
So I can discriminate against you, but that because my focus is for you to get to heaven.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what condition you go there in.
Yes.
Okay.
And I get to determine
Okay.
whether your condition on earth is valid or not. But I can invalidate it because I can say we have the same opportunities as each other. We have the same rights as each other, you know. And,
But that in itself is not true.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. They're conflating their position in their Christianity. And
Because the whole, what, I heard this guy talking day before yesterday. Johnson, Speaker Johnson. And I was amazed that he kind of just came out of nowhere as far as I could see.
yeah, I never heard him until.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people we haven't heard of will make another world. So
Right.
we don't know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, but when in the lexicon of people that appeared to be presented, he seemed like something sudden came out of the shadows.
Yeah.
And what disturbs me is either the people that don't agree with the lunacy side of the party capitulated to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is that saying about the people that were supposedly didn't want another Jim Jordan? This guy's a softer Jordan?
He's a more polished, he's very articulate.
Okay.
His presentation,
Okay.
you know, doesn't look wacky.
Okay.
In the sense of his looks, he looks very,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
presentable.
Conservative.
Conservative, yeah. It seemed like a lot of backdoor stuff because this came out of nowhere. Nobody even thought about this guy.
Yeah, I know.
There's some backdoor meetings, and this is the one we're going to push. You know, and he got unanimous vote from them.
But they know he was one of the people that was the architect of the whole fake elector scheme. They know that. So how do you put him up for speaker?
Well, because that group is in charge, and
There's only 8 of them.
yeah, and they will dress up. They want to keep the lunacy base,
Okay.
but they want to present the polished base
Okay. So
of that lunacy.
they're hoping that his
Yeah.
doctrine
Yeah.
will keep the nut cases.
Yeah.
And his look
Yes. We'll keep the
will
other.
keep the real conservative.
Yes.
But he has to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from the interviews I saw this week, you know, they were asking him, so what's your philosophy on the country? Whatever the Bible says, that should be the philosophy of the country. And
His version of it.
yes, his version of.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some guys I know that, and we talked about this before, a lot of evangelicals claim to be against prosperity, but living extraordinarily prosperous lives, and they give God all the credit.
Yep.
So they're living the promises of God as it relates to financial prosperity, houses and land, and harvest and all. They live in that. But they want to act like it doesn't exist in the Word. Why?
Their premise is, from some I heard, is how they're getting it.
Well, how do they get it?
So instead of raising an offering, they'll do some other stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I'm talking about like a specific, not like tithes and
Let
offering.
me ask you a
I
question.
know.
So one of the guys that I'm familiar with, I think their building project was $100 million. They took offerings from their wealthy members to raise the money. So since when don't you believe in an offering to raise money to take care of the church?
No, it's not to take care of the church. It's their view is that every offering that a preacher raises is to take care of the preacher, not.
He gets a house out of that.
I know. But
Okay, they got a thing called, and for a lot of preachers who aren't bivocational or don't have revenue from other sources,
Yeah.
the church supplies their lifestyle. So if your pastor's living, and I don't have any problem with this stuff, if they're living in a $3 million house with 15 rooms, and that's very possible in Texas. Now,
Yeah.
north, you'd have to pay more for
Yeah.
that. But if they're living like that, how can they preach against prosperity when they totally depend
Yeah.
on the church and maybe a couple books that they publish themselves?
Sure. No, I agree with you. It's the 500 here, the 1,000 here. It's that kind of thing. That
No,
That-
they ask for millions.
no, I know. But again, they're wrapping it and cloaking it in the how.
When they're doing a capital campaign, they're asking their millionaires
Oh, I know.
for millions of dollars.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I just want to make
It's
sure. Yeah.
they're dressing it up in a different way,
And that makes it different.
and that makes it different.
Okay. So a pig with a dress on is not a pig.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
Because all the TV preachers are using all the money for themselves, and
They don't know that.
We know.
they don't know that.
I know.
So, what's your opinion? It's not a good thing when your attorneys decide to testify against you. That's
Right.
that's a little to me that's a little dicey. When the people that know and have had all the conversations and then this defense that they presented eliminates privileged conversations. So now that the defense has taken privileged conversations off the table, anything that they talked about is open season.
Open season, yeah. And now they're throwing each other under the bus.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
And Jenna Ellis was crying and doing the whole, tears and,
I didn't realize what I
wrong
was doing.
at the
time.
Come on, you knew exactly
I'm like,
what you
come
were
on,
doing.
girl. I saw a couple tapes of her. She was very aggressive and very assertive
Absolutely.
about what she was doing.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm waiting for the legal people to shift all the way from Fannie Willis didn't know what she was doing and doing it this way to this was a brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to give her any credit at first. But now that people are starting to flip, the opinions are changing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, because now they got her they got them all on tape. They got all this evidence. And that's my thing. The election deniers,
Yeah.
they went to court multiple times and
60
could
times.
not prove it.
60 times.
Yeah, the judge, do you have proof? No.
Trump appointed judges
Yeah.
in the majority of the situations. And they weren't willing to jeopardize
Yeah.
their seat on the bench or their license to practice law
Yep.
to support something they knew. To say or give the impression that there is, number one, there's only fraud if I lose. That's the big problem I have.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fraudulent if I lose. If I win, it's totally legitimate. But to not raise the specter of illegality in every election in history, it's insincere.
It is, yeah.
There's always going to be people that vote for or against or twice if they can get away with it. But it's not going to be 3 million people
No.
different. It's not going to be 30 million people different.
And the people that voted twice were the ones that was voting for him.
Yes.
I'm like,
Come on.
I know.
But they leave that part out of the conversation and just talk about there's voter fraud.
Yeah.
Not that we had voter fraud on our part. We had dead vote work. The Republicans had dead vote voting and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want.
Yeah.
But they just put it out there was fraud.
Yeah. But they know how to capitalize on fear
Oh yeah.
and emotion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we're not hearing too much about the dogfighting ring that was coming out of a Pentagon person.
Yeah.
We're not hearing much out.
It was about a week and change, and it's kind of went away.
We haven't heard much about
It
that.
went away.
They put Michael Vick in jail, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think this guy's going to go to court, but we'll see what happens.
They put him in jail, right?
They put me Vick in jail. Yeah, he went to court with
Kind of torpedoed his career
Yep.
because he was dogfighting. But I haven't heard much about this.
No, it went away after about a week or so. So we'll see what happens to him.
Okay. Phones are lighting up, 866-743-8267, 866-74 Evans. Please give us a call. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call and talk show in America. Were you surprised when the Supreme Court rejected Alabama's redistricting approach?
Actually, I was.
Were you?
I was. It took a minute for them to fix it,
Yeah.
and I was surprised.
But it's happening in other parts of the country. So, as I understand the law and how it works, if it happens in one court, that sets a precedent
In other courts,
for
yeah.
other courts. Okay. So now others may feel, especially since it's Alabama, other courts may feel a little more encouraged to say, no, this is wrong.
Yes. Yeah, because the Supreme Court jumped. And the Supreme Court's been slowly chipping away at the Republicans' desire to redistrict
Yeah,
to get more votes.
Well, you have to do that when you realize you're in a vast minority as far as voters are concerned. I'm wondering if the climate that's happening with former President Trump and the illegality of the entire scheme, fake electors and all that, I'm wondering if people are now trying to protect their careers because they're watching people lose their careers that were aligned with this totally fraudulent message that the election was stolen. Yeah.
Self-preservation kicks in. You got most people have enough sense.
You would think.
Yeah. Now some no.
I am continually amazed. Do you know that there's 1.2 mass shootings of 4 more people a day in the United States? A day? Mm-hmm. And the number's approaching 2 mass shootings, that's 4 more a day. Mm-hmm. And they had to requalify what a mass shooting was, which means there's plenty of people that are 3 or less that are not even being reported. That's not statistically significant.
Right, which is insane.
So this guy in Maine kills 18 folk, 13 others injured, shoots himself. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that he was found dead?
No, because he found a suicide note.
I thought the note wasn't suicidal.
From what I saw yesterday, it was suicide. I didn't go back to clarify that.
Yeah, they said it didn't have that implication in it.
From what I understand, this is my problem with the gun laws. I'm okay with people owning guns.
Yeah.
But if this person's showing mental and emotional instability for weeks and months, and government people know this, why are these people allowed to legally purchase a gun knowing that he's got these issues?
Guess what the logic was that I heard yesterday from and I'm a gun person. Okay. The logic I heard yesterday was that these AR
15G
are great for shooting certain kind of birds, for shooting foxes and vermin on your property, and this is why you need an AR-15 to shoot a squirrel. I'm thinking the whole time these people, and these are politicians talking about this. You know, we have feral pigs on our property, and we want to kill them. You need a gun with a 30 clip ammo to kill a pig that's unarmed.
It's called a shotgun. They've been doing it for years. Wow.
It's called a handgun.
Yeah.
Or a rifle. You know.
It's something. Get yourself in the country. They got shotguns.
You need a Vietnam War weapon. To shoot a fox in your backyard.
Right. Yep. And that's in the military, they have to lock those AR-15s up. If you're not using them for a specific reason, they have to stay locked up. The military locks them up.
No, but we want to walk around with them on the street. We want to go to Walmart with one strapped across our back, you know.
Like,
it's ridiculous.
It is. And this guy should have never had a gun in the first place.
He said at his reserve unit he was going to shoot up the place. So you let him go home?
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about our country. We wait till after something happens.
And then we don't do much now.
And then do much.
Yeah.
No prevention at all.
Because I know I'm redundant about this. I realized that there was no care when Sandy Hook didn't change everything.
Yep.
I thought people loved their kids equally. But evidently children dying wasn't enough motivation for our politicians to do something significant.
Yeah.
Children,
yep. And then one of their own gets shot at a baseball game, and they do nothing.
Well, I figured that may have been the icing on the cake at that point. They let him take some days off, and that was it.
Yep. And the lady from Arizona.
Unbelievable. They just don't care.
No. And don't give me my problem is this. 2 things. This isn't happening everywhere in the world.
No.
Just here.
In the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So something's wrong here.
Yeah.
And then if the heart is the problem, then take away the stuff that the heart can use.
That's too logical.
Yeah, it's too logical,
That's too logical. It shouldn't be more difficult to get a license to drive than it is to get an assault weapon that can kill, 15 people in a matter of a minute?
Yep. Look, you got to show your driver's license to go to the Walgreens to pick up, certain allergy medicine. Just like.
They have the Sudafed locked up. Because that's too dangerous.
Yes. Because they think you go sell drugs and do stuff. Like, come on, y'all.
I was down south preaching. We were coming back from somewhere. I think it was Virginia somewhere. And so we had to stop. And I needed to stop at the drugstore to get something for my allergies. And I walked in and I come up to the counter. This was before it was all locked up. And the girl says, "I need some ID." I said, "Sweetheart, are you serious?" She said, "Yes, I need to make sure you're over 18. I'm like, "Baby doll."
Yeah.
Really? She said, "I know it's ridiculous." She said, "But you have to show me something so I can say that I."
Yeah.
So I was like, it's harder for me to buy some allergy medicine than it is to get a gun, man.
Yep.
They want to take a picture of your license to make sure you're who you are. But I can go to a gun event and bring home a weapon.
Pick up whatever I want.
It makes no sense.
None at all. None at all.
I wonder though, with the proliferation of guns in the country, I wonder how the law enforcement, the whole body of law enforcement, is reacting to the fact that civilians, no training, unqualified, really trying to bolster their ego to have this weapon, not tough guys trying to be tough.
Yeah.
I wonder how law enforcement feels about all these people that are unqualified having this kind of firepower.
To me, that has to be scary. To think that at any moment.
Yeah.
Especially now it's anywhere in the country.
Maybe
now it's not.
Maybe that's why 2-3 cars are pulling up at a traffic stop.
Yeah, because you never know.
No.
That's crazy. And then the government agencies don't want to put more money into the police department to get more people to help out with these issues. I mean, we've seen, like we just talked about the airport.
Yep.
That asked the question, well, did they increase the police presence at the airport with these car thefts? And they said no. They've kept it.
Here's my problem.
Here's
my problem.
Yeah. They're just going to let it go.
There's a theft problem at the airport. Violence will ensue. It did. So why is it like, okay, you can park your car here, but it might not be here, and you may get mugged when you come back to get it?
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
No.
Who wants to take that chance?
Right. I wouldn't want to. But it's just like, and it seems like to me, I could be wrong. In some places, they're just saying, look, this is what's going to happen. We're just going to have to just deal with it the way we can without additional assistance.
But I used to think politicians felt that way until it happened to them.
Yeah.
That's no longer even.
No, it's not.
Cause the change. We got lines. We have one or two lines left. 866-743-8267. We're going to Robin from Delaware, Danny from Florida, and Tom from Florida. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, Pastor Nick.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How y'all doing this morning?
We trying to make it for young, old people.
Y'all ain't old. Like you said, that woman thought you was under 18.
No, she didn't think that. Had too much gray hair.
Oh, gosh. But you do look young for your age. And God's going to keep you healthy, keep you around for a long time.
I used to tell my
got a lot of souls that he needs you to save, and he knows you can do it.
I used to tell my grandmother that all the time. She was 100, and I said, you don't look a day over 85. She'd take a swing at me.
But I'm not going to be long.
Oh.
Lord, I always had to say that.
Yeah,
just to let y'all know I'm going to be for real.
This is Christian radio, so you're lying on the air.
You know what? No, I'm not going to be long. But first I want to say that the church anniversary.
Yes.
Loved it. I'm so blessed to be there and just to, be a part of 56 years. But I thought you was going to jump in the jump rope.
I missed that part of the tape. They say I was in the hallway when they played that. How did that go over? I didn't get a chance to see it.
It was nice. That was nice the way they put that together. Okay. That was really nice.
Yeah, I heard
they did a good job. They really did a good job.
They didn't give me enough days to brush up on my double Dutch skills.
Yeah, so. I'm like, okay, Bishop, get ready, because I've never done it. So I'm like, Bishop, get ready to do it.
Protect your knees, too. It's like, hold on, that pavement, hard pavement. Just
I was going if I did do it, Robin, I'd have paid for it for like 5 days after that. But
enjoying the conversation. On Point always keeps us informed, which
Absolutely.
I love. Okay, I want to get you and Pastor Nick's feeling on this. There was a video of a police officer laughing in his cruiser regarding a 26-year-old pedestrian killed when another officer was going to a scene. He said, give a check, $11,000. She's only worth that. Yeah. The other thing is the Trenton police is being investigated regarding pulling over blacks, racial profiling. And the last thing, I don't know if Tom or Danny can answer this. There was a person in Florida whose store was robbed a lot. I think it was GameStop. Then it was robbed again, and the owner shot the robber. Now he's being charged. I thought Florida was a stand your ground.
I thought it was too. That's interesting. I'm sure they'll be able to tell us about that. Now, this thing in Philly, is that where the policeman was in the car laughing?
No, that was in Seattle.
Seattle,
Washington.
Washington.
They had it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and they got the guy basically was kind of laughing about the girl dying and was like, "Hey,
she was actually dying."
No, she died. One of his officers hit her while she was walking, and then another cop was talking to somebody about it.
Yeah.
All on the cameras in the car. Caught the guy basically just kind of laughing it off and saying, "Just write the family a check." Like she's dead. Just.
What are they going to do about him?
Well, I think they suspended him, but they're still going through the investigation and all the.
I'm not sure you would want a armed individual with that kind of cavalier attitude about life and death on your police force.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe what I saw, but that's all I have, guys.
I can't believe it.
I did not know this until you brought it up. Yeah, this week the Department of Justice is looking in the Trenton Police Department for racial profiling. I didn't see this. Did you hear about it at all?
No.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, y'all have a blessed one. Love you guys.
See you.
You know what may be causing some of these redistricting things? They've got a different kind of attorney general now, and they may be trying to avoid whatever heat's going to come.
Yeah.
Because he is going to address these things. I think they've done it rather slowly. I think they should have been addressed in the first part of the administration, but there seems to be a little hesitancy.
Yeah.
Because they think Garlington is going to investigate these types of infractions.
Yeah. Yeah. So now they're really looking into, they're saying that, I guess the Trenton police shot somebody and was paralyzed.
No.
And then it opened up a door for some more complaints, I guess the department got.
I'm sure.
And yeah, I guess we'll keep an eye on it and see.
Oh, man.
But this isn't new, because
No.
the thing before when they were doing the racial profiling and
I got profiled.
Yeah.
By the state police.
Yeah, and then a couple of the black officers came out. I remember they were on some national news talking about it.
I got profiled. I was actually, I was at a press conference where they tried to say there was none.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
right.
Guy followed me for 3 miles, 1 foot behind me. I put the car in cruise, held the wheel as straight as possible.
Yeah.
He followed me. Meanwhile, I'm getting all the numbers and things that I needed to get. Took note of the road signs.
Yeah.
So when I got back, he didn't know I was a turnpike commissioner. So when I got back to the turnpike, I told him what happened, and then we happened to have a press conference, and I just said, well, basically that's not true.
Yeah.
And then I said I was profiled for this amount of minutes, for this amount of miles,
Yeah.
And they were like, ooh.
Wow.
Because the guy didn't know I was a commissioner for the turnpike, but he followed me, had me maybe 2 feet behind me for a number of miles, trying to rattle me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Chester.
Yeah, just as calm as day. Just
I
keep
grew
on
up in
going.
Chester, man. I put the cruise on 55, held the wheel as straight as I could, and just finally just gave up.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I know.
866-743-8267. We're going to Danny. Good morning, Danny. How you doing?
Good morning, Bishop, Pastor Nick, staff. How y'all doing today?
Hey,
We're all right, man. Good to hear from you. Welcome to On Point once again.
Yes. I'm feeling pretty good. The weather down here is cooling down, and I was able to adjust my air conditioner in a couple of days, turn it on. So,
well, we were in the high 70s.
It's going to be 80 today.
79, 80 will be 80 today.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we're kicking our air conditioners back on, and you're turning yours off.
Yeah. What I called about, Bishop, you know what I always complain, and I say something about gun violence, you know, how it's been out of hand. But as you said, nothing seems to sink into the minds of the people that make these different laws.
It's got to be money.
What's going on?
It's got to be money there.
What amazed me, what happened with the latest situation, is that the people in Maine, the first thing they said, well, we never thought it would ever happen to us here. This is the safest place in the world. Okay. Now, if you think that it's the safest place in the world, and now you're dealing with reality, I noticed one thing. When the incident happened, where they do carry weapons and what have you, I've seen no one come to the rescue of those people being fired upon.
Right.
You know, they have the right to carry and what have you, but they said, well, if we have the law, keep the law in place, we'll be able to protect ourselves. Who was protected?
See, this is my issue with everybody having guns.
Okay.
And the whole good guy, bad guy. Yeah. Most people have never been in a gunfight before. And you will, from movies, you will think that you'll be the first person to pull your weapon out and
just become Rambo, right?
Right. And I mean, if everybody has a gun at that moment, trying to shoot the two bad people, what happens when all the people are shooting crossfire?
It makes no sense.
Like,
most of the logic for this kind of free gun ownership, carrying all the time, is no logic at all. And not even loss of life, Danny, causes anything more than thoughts and prayers. But I understand the governor of Maine is like, we have to do something. Because this ain't supposed to happen here. But it took all those people to die for him to get off the dime and say, you know, perhaps we do need to change some things.
It's something, too. When the Clinton administration banned assault rifles, mass shootings went way down.
Okay.
President George Bush, his administration allowed it to come back. Mass shootings went right back up again. How can you? The correlation a 5-year-old can see.
You can't miss it.
Like, come on.
And the thing is that you think that if it happens in a school, that it might wake up some people and what have you. Look what happened in Florida.
I thought we all cared about our children equally. And I'm amazed still that children can be killed, and the adults that could change things continually do not change. And it's not just minority kids, it's white kids, it's Hispanic kids, it's black kids, it's Muslim children here in the United States getting killed, and it's not motivation enough for us to do anything. I think we got the wrong people in office.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
Especially now with things that are going on, they can't even control themselves, you know, and logical things that happen. We know that we don't have the right people in position.
The thing that bothers me is the political mindset. Is this? So in your state, Danny, they just didn't have free enough laws. So the violence goes up. So what did they do? Not put restrictions on. Let everybody just carry one. You can carry it around the street now. So according to you, what you're telling us every week, Tom, people are getting shot at, because of traffic disputes.
Exactly. Yes. And every day there's at least 5 deaths.
Every day?
Every day. At least 5.
This country's angry, man. Road rage and all of the stuff.
Yeah, so 5 deaths, urban centers, doesn't matter. Who's doing the shooting? Who's doing the dying?
The problem is that people don't talk. They let the guns do the talking.
It's unbelievable.
That's it. It's the wild, wild west.
And then you have politicians that think we need more of this on the street. It doesn't make any sense.
As long as they make the money, the gun sales, and what have you, that's all that matters.
And the logic about only criminals will have guns, well, somebody's selling them to them, which means they're getting them from somewhere.
Yeah.
And here's
why can't I see that line of logic?
Yeah. And like you said years ago, people would go down to the South to these gun shows, buy them, come up here to the north and sell them on the streets. And
I know a guy that did it till he got caught.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't know he was doing it, but when he got caught, everybody was like, huh?
Yeah.
Continually going down south getting come up. They finally caught him. And we were appalled. And his logic was, I'm not using the gun.
Yeah. It's like selling crack and saying,
it's your decision.
Right.
I'm not really in the equation. I just sell it. Jeez. Come on, man. How's my sister doing, Dan?
Blessed and highly favored.
She doing good?
Very good, very good.
Please tell her I said hello. I'm sorry she had to take her. Sorry she had to take her boots and her mink off, though.
Yes. Yes, she have them on standby.
give her my regards.
Will do, Bishop. Be blessed.
Talk to you now. Bye bye.
See ya.
We got Tom from Fort Lauderdale. We got Cheryl from Burlington, New Jersey. Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Pastor Nick?
How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on, man?
You're talking about these. I'm gonna real quick with the guns.
Yeah.
AR-15s are basically a M16, which is designed to kill you.
Right.
The bullet travels and tumbles through your body. You got a high-capacity magazine. They're crazy. So, but getting past that, Bishop, the lady called earlier about GameStop and a guy getting killed.
Okay.
And what happened was, this place had been robbed a couple times. The owners were tired of it.
Okay.
Guy comes in, doesn't have a gun, robs them, and runs out the store.
Okay.
On the way out the store, he gets shot in the back and gets killed.
Okay.
So they're charging the guy with second-degree murder.
Okay. So.
And I got tape of it, and you kind of understand why.
So you're in a stand your ground state, right?
Yep.
All right. So when does the law say a person can defend themselves?
The answer to that is having a lawyer standing next to you as you pull the trigger.
That's really what it is.
Okay. Because I logically, I think if the guy's got an item and he's running out the store, you don't need to shoot him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let the police deal with it.
If you think it like that. Now, I get the
I
fact.
think he was actually out of the store.
Okay, I get the fact that they may have been frustrated because they've been robbed before, but I think a guy empty-handed is no threat. Maybe they didn't know whether he was empty-handed or not, but I mean, if the guy's running away from you and he's got, a $29 item in his or her hand, I mean, doesn't something click and say it's not worth me killing this person? Let's see if we can get him arrested.
I think it's because the previous robberies, this guy was just tired of it. And, I was joking with a friend down here because local corner stores all over the place, and they're open 24 hours, and you don't hear them getting robbed, and we know why.
Why?
You will get shot.
Okay.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. So that's the other side of that coin. But
so they know which stores to rob.
Yeah. In some cases, they're corner stores in the hood.
Yeah, like corner stores up here in the hood. Certain ones stay open. They leave them alone. They
don't bother them at all.
Well, they probably know they're gonna go in there and get.
You're gonna get.
They gonna get
you come in here. You bring that in here. You're gonna get it. And Bishop, you were our new speaker. I think a lot of the guys that were bending or weren't sure was like, man, we look like a bunch of idiots. We got to do something and go along with the program.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about one of the Republicans who got shot before, he was one of the guys who just ran for speaker.
Oh, that's right, he was.
Yeah.
Scalia?
Yeah, he was the one that got shot in that softball field.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't get it, man. How you been feeling, Tom? You sound good today.
Getting better.
Good, man. Glad to hear it.
All right.
Talk to you soon, man.
Hey, y'all take care.
Bye-bye. We're going to Cheryl from Burlington. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Welcome to On Point.
Good morning.
Thank you.
What's your comment today?
I wanted to talk about Gaza and Hamas.
Okay.
and what the bishops and pastors' opinion and views are on that.
I think we're looking at a historic conflict.
Sure.
And I think that we are not accustomed to the way they're used to fighting.
Definitely not.
I find it to be a little short-sighted that people are criticizing Israel for responding, retaliating. And this is how I draw my analogy. Say if you have a child, and I walk up and slap your child, and you ask me why did I do that, and I said I was trying to get your attention. Well, I'm going to get your attention, but I'm also going to get your response. And the thing is, I can't slap your child and dictate how you're going to respond to me.
Reciprocation, right?
I can't govern. I can't manage how you're going to react to me assaulting your child. That's not going to work. I'm getting an impression from the newscasts that I'm watching and interviews that people are expecting Israel to have raised their hand and asked, "Do you want to talk?"
Right.
I think they're past that. I mean, you behead people's kids in front of them.
Right.
That's going to draw a different kind of response, I think. Now, is it all wrong? People are getting hurt all over the place. All that's wrong in my eyes. But but I don't think you can, like I said, behead people's babies in front of them and expect the nation just to stand there, and the community, the world community that's outside the conflict has a whole lot of opinions about how they should be responding.
I know, as maybe this is I'm a first-time caller.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
And thank you. I am in Burlington, and I'm a part of the 90-day challenge. I don't get into the sanctuary as often as I like, but I've been a member for probably 23 years.
Okay.
And my family and friends look to me to kind of spread the word, and they know that I'm a huge follower and believer in the teachings of Bishop Evans. So some of these people have been asking, well, what's Bishop's ideas, or what are his thoughts? And I haven't really heard him speak much on it during services or anything, and it's just something that I wanted to take back to the people that I touch.
We've been talking about it quite a bit on the radio, though. We've been talking about it on Saturday since it happened. I think it's unfortunate all the way around, and unfortunately, war, which is what we're watching. They can call it a conflict, they can call it a battle. We're watching a war, and innocent people get hurt and killed when they're living in a war zone. And these folk fight different. They fight with different
values.
Yeah, and rules than we do. They fight like Old Testament biblical kind of stuff. It's like it's like
take it all.
It's like wow. But I don't know how we can attempt to modulate Israel's response when a bunch of their kids, teens, old folk captured, but it's just unfortunate all the way around.
Yeah. In the biblical arena, we know that we've read that Israel will always be at war. Is that correct or no?
They're surrounded by enemies, so there will always be conflict. But at the same time now, we got to be even-handed about this. I just recently was studying, and I saw where in the Old Testament, Israel had been disobedient, and the Bible said they were going to have these conflicts due to their disobedience. But at the same time, we know that God has his hand on that nation because they are very small compared to their adversaries. And as far back as I can see, in modern times, they've never been defeated.
Right.
They've never been defeated.
Right. Well, I won't hold you.
I'm glad you called.
And I'll be showing up soon in person.
Girl,
not just on live.
It's on up in here. It's on up in here.
You know it. There's no better experience.
It's on up in here. It's on up in here.
It's absolutely no other experience. I come in the door clapping my hands. making that noise.
I
so
hear you, Doc.
I'm here, and I'm doing my best to spread the word.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Stay strong.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. So, I had not heard anything about, well, here's the thing. The Irizarry situation in Philly, not related to the Irizaris that we know. I talked to the family after we mentioned it on the radio that day. So, for some reason, this guy gets out, and they rearrest him because a judge came along and said, that's not how this works. So, how did he get off in the first place?
I don't know, but I'm assuming politics, who you know, working situations out. They tried to say there wasn't enough 100 proof evidence that, you know, because first they say the officer lied about,
of course,
you know, Irizarry.
Yeah.
He had a knife in his hand. First he said he lunged at him, then the tape showed that he didn't lunge at him.
Right.
So I was wondering if they thought this was just going to go away. But this day and age now, they're not letting this stuff go.
No, I don't think they can. The other thing I didn't know until somebody told me, the woman that was the commissioner resigned.
Yes.
And I had talked to my political relationships in Pennsylvania, and they let me know that she had been hired merely for political purposes to have a black female in the position. But then they got her there and didn't support her.
Yeah, I heard that part, yeah.
So she's trying to make these moves to correct things, and they're not giving her any backing at all. So she's on her own.
Yeah.
And I think she just had enough.
Yep.
But her hire was a, what do you call it, when you're trying to impact the way people see things, it was,
I know you're talking about
the visuals were, you know, we had this black woman police commissioner, but they didn't give her any support that she needed.
I heard that part too.
Yeah.
Trying to make it, and to me, again, that goes back to politics and care for people. And if you don't really care about that part, you'll do things like this. Almost like let everybody just run amok and do whatever.
I remember when you may not have been alive at this time, but when Frank Rizzo was police commissioner, and we had a violence issue in Philly, and he gave an order that they were supposed to quell the violence, and it was quelled aggressively, but you couldn't walk downtown Philadelphia without feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
And, you know, it did change all that. But then they got a little more brutal out in the suburban areas. I mean, the minority areas of the city, and it went too far.
Yeah.
But they did get control of the violence in the city. And what she was going to need to do that, I don't think they were politically ready to do it.
No. Because you can't. Before it was, like you said, we'll keep downtown safe because you're not going to mess the money up. That's they did in Chicago, all that stuff. Now it's just
stuff's breaking out downtown Center City during you know, the height of the times when people are trying to spend their money. You don't know if you can get in the crowd on South Street and there's going to be you know, some kind of riot or.
Look, if I got to go to Philly for something, I go first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and I'm out by.
Look, if I have to go, I park in my club's parking lot. Even if I have to walk a little further, get to where I'm going, come back to the parking lot, get out of Dodge. If I need to go somewhere and eat, I go inside the club and eat, and then I come back and get in the car. Because all that walking around, not knowing what's going on, it's just too much now.
It is too much, and it's unfortunate. But you're right. People that come in to make. I think now, you can help me if I'm wrong here. Something you talked about at the leadership meeting last week. Well, you implied it in a very nice way of putting it, that new people with ideas, usually people are threatened by them because of what it will expose. So I wonder, her trying to make these changes, what it was exposing.
Absolutely.
So let's find a way to get her to quit.
Yeah.
Because we don't want all this stuff to come to the light of day.
I remember when I first went to work for Tasty Cake. And I only have one work ethic, and that is to get in there and do what I'm supposed to do. And I remember I didn't know that was a change. Like, I was doing in 4 hours what guys were taking 8.5 hours to do. And then I was going to ask for more work because I thought that's what you did at work. Well, a little delegation came to see me one day while I was cleaning up my area. In the area, it used to take 4 guys to do it, but then it took 2, me and another guy. And then when the other guy was out, I would do it myself. So they came to me and said, you know, you're messing us up. I'm like, what you talking about? Well, you know, you're drawing too much attention. You need to slow down because what you're doing is exposing the fact that the job can get done another way.
Yes. Yep.
Same thing. Want to bring in changes. They're going to make it more efficient, but it's going to expose the inefficiency, and there's usually some revenue attached to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, because now we got to work overtime to finish this.
Come on, man. Come on.
Whole systems.
Yeah.
In place to benefit a few, not at the expense of the company.
Absolutely.
Or the, you know, it's sad.
So how? I didn't see this thing on 500 students stays home from school the day mass attackers came into the school.
Yeah. So I think it happened in Seattle. These mass attackers came to school.
Yeah.
You know, was hitting some of the kids and teachers.
What?
And then and then the next day, none of the kids went to school the next day because they're like, how they getting here first?
That was my first thought when you said it.
You know.
And then how do you have your way in the school for that long?
And the teachers chased the people, the kids, whoever was out. But at the same time, I would not have went to school the next day either. My kids, I told them stay home.
The guys I had for teachers and the ladies, you didn't come up in our schools doing that stuff. You didn't have to worry about the other kids.
Yeah.
We had guys like Mr. Kaplan and those guys. And your parents come to school and find you laying in the bathroom somewhere.
Yep. Yeah.
And they didn't have those rules where a student can attack a teacher, and the teacher's just supposed to kind of take it and not hit back.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in an environment where I can't defend myself.
No, not at all. But it goes back to that. We wait until something bad happens rather than working on prevention.
But if you got cameras in the hallway and the camera's going to show this little turkey walked up and slapped me in the face, then
see.
It can't just capture me going upside his head.
Right. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's true.
I'm just saying.
I agree with you.
We have a member who drives for one of the transportation companies, and a woman tried to say that he assaulted her on the bus. Well, of course, there's cameras on the bus. She never came near the guy. She was trying to sue SEPTA and was willing to torpedo his whole life to get some money.
Yep, to get some money.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And he had to wait, be on eggshells for months, waiting for the decision to be made that vindicated him because they had the tape the whole time.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't come to a decision.
Wow. Worried about lawsuits and all
And he
this.
wasn't worried about it because he knows I'm sitting in the seat. They pay their money to get on the bus.
Yeah.
They got a camera right on the guy. But she was willing to. But I've seen that happen a couple times too.
It does. Speaking of SEPTA, did you see the young lady that shot the SEPTA bus driver?
What was that all about?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the story to come out for people that were on the bus.
Okay.
But
did they say how it happened?
The picture, it showed her. She walked down the steps, turned around,
and unloaded.
And unloaded them. Yeah. Yeah, and the people that, of course, tried to get on the bus ran away.
Did it look like she knew him or something?
It was just it's a short clip coming off.
Because she must have gotten on the bus.
Yeah, they just show her coming off the bus at a stop.
And she turned around, lit him up?
Turns around, shot him, yeah, and then walks away.
Did he die?
Yeah, I believe he died, yeah. They caught her, though.
Did they catch her?
Yeah, they caught her, yeah.
Okay, last I'd heard they hadn't caught her.
It was one of the street cameras. Saw the whole thing.
Okay. And now that she's incarcerated or at least detained, what was her beef?
That's what I'm trying to see if, what the story says.
Unbelievable.
Like you said, but this hate and this anger.
It didn't just start yesterday.
Yeah, this is
building up, man. It's a shame you have to be on guard everywhere you go now. I mean, literally everywhere you go.
Yeah. And you're just, and it's like, it's not like patience, I'm upset. It's just respond.
They're snapping, but there's whatever pressure they feel like they're under, they've been under it a while.
Yep.
Well, we're coming into the end of another program. We want to invite you to our worship service live in the sanctuary tomorrow at 11 a.m. For those of you that are in the outlying areas, we have an 8 a.m. virtual service that we're sure you'll be blessed by. But you really want to have the personal experience of coming and be a part of our live service at 11 a.m. We had our church anniversary last week, and great outdoor event, and chef had some major hamburgers out there. And we had face painting and pictures and balloon heads and all that kind of good stuff, and plenty of music, and people were just fellowshipping, having a great time last week. So if you were not able to participate in our anniversary gift, you can do that now and do that tomorrow during service. We no longer require COVID vaccinations to attend, but we are observing other precautions. As you know, COVID rates are rising once again. Our midweek services are really dynamic. You want to be here at 12 noon on Wednesday or 7 p.m. for our night. We're having a great time. For those that work at night but want to come during the day, and those who work at day, you can come at night at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. That's Wednesday at noon and 7 p.m. for our midweek encounters. Now, if you'd like to get some news updates concerning Bethany, what's coming up, what we're doing, you can do that by texting BBC News to 28950. If you'd like some devotional, some spiritual encouragement during the week, we invite you to text BBC Elevate to 28950. As always, we'd love to agree with you in prayer, so send your prayer requests to social@gotobethany.com. That's social@gotobethany.com. And we'd love to touch and agree with you in prayer. We really believe in prayer because we've seen the measurable manifestation of our prayers in many people's lives. Subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube. That's David G. Evans 1, BBC of NJ on YouTube, but also our podcast platforms, DGEMS, DGEMS, and On Point, of course, the title of this show. As always, for Pastor Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans, and remember this now. We want to see you tomorrow in worship. Go to somebody's church, come to ours, but you've got to get in worship. Do not inconvenience the Lord by delaying what he can do. Come to worship service and get the full impact. Remember now, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and see you next time on Point.